to our podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast. Today we are discussing the contemporary sociology of Australian families and communities and how this relates to early childhood education.
So, in this podcast, we will explore that family means different family structure in Australia, parenting styles, and two key theories Bronfenbrenner's biological theory and family system theory.
And we will also discuss how these theories help educator understands relationship, behavior, culture, communication, and community influences.
At the end, we will reflect on the role of early childhood teachers and how they can work ethically, inclusively, and professionally with diverse family and communities.
We have got four different topics. Our first topic is contemporary sociology of Australian families.
To begin, can you explain what we mean by family in contemporary Australian society?
Yeah, sure. So, family can be understood in both a biological and social way. From a biological perspective, family usually means people connected by birth, genetics, or legal relationship, such as parents, children, siblings, and relatives. And however, from a social perspective, family is much broader, and family can include people who provide love, care, safety, identity, belonging, and emotional support.
And so, family is not only about blood relationship.
Exactly. So, in this contemporary society, family is not just only about biology or blood relationship. Some children may be cared by grandparents, foster care, kinship care, step parents, same-sex parents, or other significant adults. What matter is the relationship, cares, and support that the child receives.
So, what do you think? What types of family structures might educators see in early childhood services?
So normally educators may work with many different family structures, like they can include nuclear families, single parents families, blended families, extended families, foster families, kinship care families, same-sex parent families, and chosen families. So Grace Bowes and Woodrow explain that children's development is shaped by family, community, culture, and the wider social context.
Why is this all important for educator to understand?
Okay, thank you for your question. Like, it is important because educators should not assume that every child comes from same family background. Like, for example, one child may live with both parents, another may live with one parents, another may live with just grandparents, or they may be in foster or kinship care. So, if educators only saw one type of family in book, poster, or conversation, some children may feel invisible or excluded.
And can you explain how this connect with early years learning framework?
Okay, so the early year learning framework explained that children's sense of belonging is strength when the family, culture, and identity are respected in the learning environment. Like this means educators should include different family types in the curriculum, in stories, in dramatic play, and in conversation with children.
Okay, can you also give an example of inclusive practice?
Yep, sure. So, for an example, we can take an educator could create a family wall where children bring photos of the people who are important to them. And instead of saying mom and dad, the educator can say your family or the people who care for you. The simple change respect children who may not live with parents, like both parents, or who have different family structure.
Can you tell me the main message from your part?
Yep, so the main message is that the contemporary Australian families are diverse. Like early childhood educators needs to recognize and respect the diversity so like every child feel included, valued and safe. And when families are respected, children are more likely to feel a strong sense of belonging and confident in the early childhood setting.
So the second part is parenting style and Bronfenbrenner's biological theory.
Now let's move to parenting styles. So, Srena, could you please explain the four main parenting styles for us?
Yes, definitely. There are four common parenting styles: are authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, and uninvolved. Authoritative parents is warm and supportive, but it also includes clear rules and boundaries. Authoritarian parenting is strict and controlling with less emotional warmth. Permissive parenting is warm and loving, but it may have fewer rules and limits. Uninvolved parenting means there may be limited emotional support, guidance, or supervision.
And can you explain how can these parenting styles influence children?
Yes, parenting style can influence children behavior, confidence, emotional regulation, independence, and relationships. For example, children who experience warmth and clear boundaries may feel secure and supported. Children who experience very strict or very limited support may sometimes find it harder to express emotions, follow routines, or trust adults.
Also, do you think that educators should judge families based on parenting styles?
No, educators should not judge families. Parenting is influenced by many things, including culture, family history, stress, work, financial pressure, mental health, and community support. Beyond Blue explains that parenting and mental health can affect family relationship and well-being. So educators need to respond with understanding, not judgment.
Sorry to interrupt you. Could you please give us an example in early childhood setting so that it will be easier for us to understand?
Definitely, yes. If a child struggles with separation at drop off, the educator should not blame the parents or child. Instead, the educator can support the family with a calm routine, regular communication, and reassurance. This shows professional respect and support both the child and family.
Now, can you explain Brenner's psychological theory?
Yeah. Uh, Bronfenbrenner's biological theory explains that children develop within connected environments. A child is influenced by their immediate relationships, such as family and educator, but also by wider systems such as community, culture, policies, work condition, and society. This theory helps us understand that child development does not happen in isolation.
So, how do you think that this theory is connected to early childhood education?
I think it connects strongly because educators need to look at the whole child. A child's behavior or learning may be influenced by home routine, family stress, cultural expectation, housing, access to service, or community support. The early years learning framework also highlight that learning is strengthened when educator build partnership with families and communities.
So, from what you have said far, you means educators need to just think beyond the classroom?
Exactly, yes. For example, if a child is tired every morning, the educator might consider whether the child has sleep difficulties, family routine, transport challenges, or other stress at home. Bronfenbrenner's theory encourages educator to think about all the system around the child.
And how does culture fit into this theory?
I think culture is very important. Children's values, communication styles, food practices, celebrations, and family expectations may be shaped by culture. ACARA explains that intercultural understanding supports respect for different culture, language, and perspective, which stands for Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority. In practice, this means educators should show respect for children's cultural identities and include them in learning environment.
So, what is the main message from your part?
The main message is that children are influenced by many connected systems. Parenting styles matters, but educators must understand them within family, cultural, and social context. Bronfenbrenner's theory help educators support children more holistically by working closely with families and communities.
And our next topic is family systems theory.
Now we will move to family system theory. Shashi, could you please explain this theory?
Yes, family system theory explains that a child is a part of connected family system. This means family members influence each other through their relationships, emotions, communications, and daily routines. A child's behavior, learning, and well-being cannot be fully understood separately from their family context.
Oh my goodness, this is too vast for me. Could you please explain this in a simple way, please?
Of course, in simple words, like when something changes in one part of the family, it can affect the whole family system. For example, if a parent is stressed, unwell, separated, working long hours, or there is a new baby at home, the child may respond emotionally or behaviorally. The child may become quiet, upset, clingy, tired, or unsettled at the early childhood service.
So, how does this theory help an educator?
It helps educators look deeper at children's behavior instead of saying this child is difficult. An educator can say what might be happening in the child's family system. This helps educators respond with empathy and professionalism rather than judgment. Beyond Blue explains that parenting, stress, and mental health can influence family relationships and children's well being.
Could you please explain how this theory is relevant to family partnerships?
Yes, it is very relevant because educators work not only with the child but also with the child's family. The earlier learning frameworks states that families are children's first and most influential teachers, and that respectful partnerships support children's belonging, learning, and well-being. Therefore, educators need to communicate respectfully with families and understand their routines, values, strengths, and challenges.
I think if you give an example for us, it will be easier. So could you please give us a practical example?
Yes. Imagine a child who suddenly become aggressive during play. Instead of punishing the child straight away, like the educator might observe the child and speak gently with the family and find out that the child's parents recently separated or the family moved house. This doesn't excuse unsafe behavior, but it helps the educator respond with support, consistency, and care.
Can you explain how does family system theory connect with diverse Australian families?
Like it connects strongly because family systems can look different. Families may be nuclear, single parent, blended, extended, foster, kinship, same sex parent, or chosen families. Grace Bowes and Woodrow explain that children's development is shaped by family, community, culture, and social context. And so, educators must not assume that one family structure is normal or better than another.
What about cultural and community influences?
Like cultural and community influence are also very important. Families may have different languages, traditions, beliefs, parenting practices, and communication styles. ACARA explains that intercultural understanding supports respect and for different cultures, values, and ways of living. Educators can show this respect by including children's home languages, family photos, cultural stories, celebrations, and community connections in the curriculum.
Oh my goodness, Saucy, you have said so many things, but what is the main message from family system theory? I didn't get that.
The main message is that children should be understood holistically, their emotions, behavior, and learning are connected to the family relationships and community experiences. Family system theory reminds educators to listen without judgment, value family diversity, and build strong partnerships that support children's belonging and well being.
Now, critical reflection and conclusion.
Now, let's move to the final part. What is the role of an early childhood teacher when working with diverse families and communities?
Early childhood teachers have an ethical, inclusive, and professional responsibility to respect every child and family. This means educators should avoid stereotypes and assumptions about family structure, culture, or language, parenting, or community background. Instead, educators need to recognize that every family has strengths, knowledge, and experiences that contribute to the child's learning.
And can you explain how can educators show respect for diverse families?
Yes, educators can show respect by communicating in a warm and professional way, listening to family voices, asking about children's routines, and including family knowledge in the curriculum. The EYLF explains that partnerships with families are central to children's first and most influential teachers.
Okay, Kanchan, what does inclusive practice look in the classroom?
Okay, inclusive practice can include displaying family photos, using children's home language, reading books about different families, respecting each other cultural celebrations, and inviting families to share stories, songs, or even traditions. This supports children to feel proud of who they are. It also teaches other children to respect their each other diversity.
Okay, now what might be the challenges educators face when working with families?
There can be many challenges. Some families may experience financial pressure, mental health concerns, separation or trauma, even housing stress or language barriers or limited community support. Also, some families may feel nervous about speaking with educators, and especially if they had negative experiences with the services before.
And how should educators respond to these challenges?
Educators should respond with empathy, confidentiality, and professionalism. They should not judge families or share private information inappropriately. Instead, educators can build trust slowly, communicate respectfully, and connect families with support services when needed. BU highlights that the importance of planning for well-being, which is also important for supporting children, families, and educators in early childhood settings.
So, what are the opportunities when educators build strong partnership with families?
Okay, so strong partnerships create many opportunities. When educators and families work together, children may feel safer, more confident, and more connected. Educators can understand children better, and families may feel more respected and included. This can improve children's well being, communication, or behavior, and also learning.
Can you please connect this back to the two theories?
Yes. Bronfenbrenner's bioecological theory reminds us that the children are influenced by many connected environments such as family, education, culture, and community. So, family system theory reminds us that children's behavior and well being can be connected to relationships and communication within the family. Both theories help educators see the whole child, not just the child's behavior in the classroom.
And what is the final message of our podcast?
The final message is that contemporary Australian families are diverse and changing. Early childhood teachers need to be respectful, inclusive, and culturally responsive. By understanding family diversity, parenting styles, and family theories, educators can build stronger partnerships and support children's belonging, being, and becoming.
Oh my goodness, we have talked lots of things in our podcast today, and I didn't realize it has already been 20 minutes. So I think we should end this podcast here. So I would like to thank you all for listening to our podcast.
Thank you, Louis. We hope this discussion helped explain why understanding families and communities is important in early childhood education.
And how theories such as Bronfenbrenner's bioecological theory and family system theory can guide educators to support children more holistically.
Thank you. That was all for the podcast.
Bye.